A quintessential educator who truly went beyond textbook and for whom teaching was not just a profession, but a passion. And that defines the biggest legacy which lies in forging unconditional bonds with so many students, those whom he taught and those whom he didn't. And of course, there was a list of his favorites. I now invite another of a very close friend and a classmate, Mr. Tejveer Singh, Principal Secretary to Hon'ble Chief Minister, Punjab, and in addition, Principal Secretary, Civil Aviation. Tejveer, I'm sure when I'm reading all these titles, our professors would be so proud of us. Please, it's all yours.
Thank you, Devyani. Our teacher, Dr. Malay Neerav, my friends from class, Jayant and Neeraj, and very eminent educators who have joined for this afternoon session. First of all, let me add my own words of deep condolences on the passing away of a very beloved teacher, Dr. David Baker. Ladies and gentlemen, St. Stephen's is a great institution that we've all been privileged to be associated with. But this institution has been made great by some very fine people, one of whom was Dr. David Baker. In fact, may I say that Dr. Baker was quite an institution in himself. So let me quickly share a couple of vignettes from my association with Dr. David Baker. Dr. Baker was my block tutor in Rudra South when I joined college and residence in 1988. Like many of you have already said before me, his personal and well-drafted notes, sometimes typed, but quite often written in a fine, firm hand. Letters that he sometimes wrote to us during vacation and inviting us over for tea are very abiding memories. He also had his own threshold for noise in the block. You can well imagine first-year students tend to be quite rowdy. But it's very interesting that he would impose a general discipline without necessarily cramping the exuberance of youth. So I think there was a level up to which things were allowed, but beyond that, Dr. Baker would come down with a fairly firm hand. The second thing relates to him as a teacher. And like Devyani said before me, and so have Jayant and Neeraj, I can very vividly recall him drawing the map of Europe on the board for every class of modern West. And now I can say that he understood the importance of geography while teaching history just so well. His tutorial sessions, like some of my friends have already said, were most painstakingly done. He would give us very meticulously typed sheets of past years' university questions on the subject. He would give us suggested readings and would discuss the outline of each possible essay with us. And very interestingly, while assessing, when he would evaluate and give us our answer sheets, I remember how he would often end up saying a rather longish "all right" while reading something that he could not really digest. But he was always just so polite about everything with young students, never wanting to really let them down, even if he had to say something which was not so pleasant. My last meeting with Dr. Baker was around 3 years ago in Chandigarh when he was staying as a house guest with one of our old Stephanians here. The gentleman who is a very distinguished judge of the High Court had invited me along with some other old college students of Dr. Baker for dinner. And before food could be served at 9:30, which I'm sure all of you agree isn't really a late time by normal standards, Dr. Baker had quietly dozed off in his chair. And when he was woken up, so he woke up with a very polite apology by saying, well, this is well beyond my bedtime. So as I conclude, may I say that Dr. Baker really personified Stephania and the values that the college espouses: of simplicity, of erudition, of discipline, of a strong sense of right and wrong, and importantly, of great love for the country. He was Australian by birth, as you mentioned before me, but he became a naturalized Indian and died here. The fact that he's remembered just so fondly is a tribute to his over half a century long association with our college and with India. It is more than just a coincidence that we pay our tribute to our beloved teacher on Teachers' Day in the presence of Dr. Malay Nirav, another teacher we all greatly adore. Rest in peace, Dr. Baker, and thank you, Devyani, for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts along with my old friends like you, Jayant and Neeraj. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And what can I say? Yes, Dr. Baker truly represented the values of Stephania.